Yeah, so on LinkedIn recently, Eric, you published a post about Iron Man as an analogy for digital transformation. So we had quite a few comments and questions on that post. So I wanted to bring them to the podcast today. The first one is, love the Iron Man analogy. Just curious though, would Pepper Potts be the one doing the actual planning for this digital transformation, or Jarvis getting a major upgrade? Asking for a friend and all the employees that don't want to get caught in the crossfire of your innovations. Great post.
Yeah, it's a great comment, and actually, I was surprised at how far people took the analogy. They took it a lot further than I took it, as far as bringing in specific characters and nuances of the movie franchise that I had forgotten about or just didn't recall. Funny story, or not a funny story, depending on how you look at it. I am not actually an Iron Man / superhero fan, so I actually don't really. I do watch them with my kids, but I'm not a huge fan of those kind of movies. So I don't follow the plot and the story and the characters as much as some of the people in the thread. So they really challenged my knowledge of Iron Man trivia. But I would say, that was an interesting comment on that thread about some of the characters and Jarvis within and the Jarvis AI within the Iron Man comparison. But I think the interesting comment there is that, he hits two things. One is the planning and the technology. Planning is such an important part of a transformation, which is something that Iron Man is all about. And so I think that's another great part of the analogy or metaphor, whatever it is. I don't know if it's an analogy or a metaphor, but perhaps some of the English experts out there can tell me which it is. But that's a great comparison there with that. And then obviously the AI piece of it too becoming more relevant here today. So I think the AI and the planning pieces of it are both relevant in any sort of digital transformation, which further strengthens the comparison between Iron Man and digital transformations.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this next one, hopefully, it's not going to test your knowledge on characters, but it is also about Iron Man and the Marvel theme. They say, I like the Iron Man and Marvel theme, and in a digital transformation or business transformation, Iron Man would have to plan for AI and robotic process automation as given for argumenting implementations, automating workflows, cybersecurity considerations, read threads, and let's face it, scaring users. I think we can all anticipate that AI will displace jobs and that time is coming soon. Iron Man not only created Ultron, but that is as about AI as it gets. He seemed shocked when it turned on him and how powerful it became. For such a smart guy, Tony Stark was almost utterly destroyed by AI. Bottom line, get out in front of AI and RPA headed into business/digital transformation. What are your thoughts on this, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the concept of creative destruction. Where there's certain threats in the world, and I forgot who coined the phrase creative destruction. I think it was Clay Christensen who wrote the book Innovator's Dilemma. I think it was him that coined the concept of of creative destruction. But the whole concept with creative destruction is you want to embrace the fact that that the disruption is happening, and you can either fight it and hope it goes away, or you can embrace it and be part of the disruption. And so I've always taken that same philosophy, even just in building Third Stage. There's certain things we do as a company that is really embracing trends that many might view as a threat. For example, partnering with competitors and leveraging technology to automate a lot of what we do as consultants. We've been doing that for years now, where we actually are embracing technologies that, I don't want to say it commoditizes some of the consulting services we provide, but it automates some of what we're doing. So in theory, I should be opposed to that because it's generating less revenue for us because it takes us less time, less billable hours to do some of the work. But the way we view it is if we do that, we add that much more value to a client. They're just going to hire us to do other stuff instead. And that has proven to be the case. So I think that's the case here too, is if you with AI and robotics and any emerging technology, insert emerging technology trend here, this comment will apply, is you have to just embrace it and accept the fact that it's probably going to disrupt things. It might result in less jobs, but if I'd say it's a lot less to result in lost jobs if you're embracing it, especially if you're a person that you feel threatened by AI potentially. If you're embracing AI and you're finding ways to use AI to make you better as a person, as a performer, then I think it's actually going to work the opposite. It's actually going to make you more more valuable to the organization and make it less likely that your job goes away. If you resist it and fight it and ignore it, you're actually going to be more at risk of being eliminated, from something like AI or any other emerging tech. So I think you do have to embrace it and figure out how it can coexist, and not to say it's going to be perfect and it's not going to disrupt jobs, but I think it's less likely to if you embrace it and figure out how to integrate it with the work you're already doing.